Give you a song, then diamonds are gold.
All right, guys, welcome to Happy Hour. It's the end of Monday, April 20th, and we're getting started with some thematic music. My boy Willie, my boy Waylon. Cheers, guys. Welcome to Happy Hour. If you're joining us, we're going to give folks a few minutes to get in the room. Grow up to be cowboys. You guys know the drill. Where are you located? What are you drinking? Put 3 stars if it's your first time. I want to make sure to give you a shout out. Good to see you, Tiffany. We're going to give folks a few minutes to get in the room. So everybody, make sure you got something in your glass. Sit back and enjoy some tunes. Hi, Pam. What's up, Anthony? Drinking Sauv Blanc from, where is Sauv Blanc from Carneros? Okay, Rinda. What's up in San Antonio? Drinking Artist Blend. Don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Pam in League City drinking 14 Method Champenois. All right. Hi, Ken. Still at work in Fort Worth, so high quality H2O. Hey, I'm glad you're joining us at work. I love that. Also, what's up in Frisco? You're drinking Enchante, just like me. You guys know the drill. Say hi in the comments. Let us know where you are and what you're drinking. If you're a first timer, 3 stars so I can give you a shout out. What's up, Jeff and Kim? Good to see you. Judy, what's up from Lago, drinking Albarino. Hopefully you guys are enjoying those tunes. You know, it's April 20th. It is the end of April 20th. And, you know, just wanted to give my boy Willie Nelson and, you know, in this case, Waylon Jennings, some time to play us some music on a beautiful, sunny, you can see the sun is shining bright behind me. Sunny, hot, 85-degree weather. I'm in West Austin. I'm drinking Enchante. We've got some awesome folks joining us in the comments. If it's your first time, we're so glad you're here. You want to drop in the comments. Let us know what you're drinking and where you're located. Lindy's drinking Enchante in Frisco. Jean, hi. Crystal, what's up? Good to see you. Alan, my Canadian brother, always good and good with those cocktails. Black Manhattan today. I love a good Black Manhattan. Catherine in San Antonio drinking Michelle Ultra. I'm pretty sure you meant Michelob Ultra. You probably got a little spell check situation. Hey, drink what you're going to drink, guys. This is a great thing about Happy Hour. For those of you who are new, we just want you to put something in your glass, log on and connect. A way to mark the end of your day. Shut your computer or, you know, keep it open for Happy Hour so you can see me. I'm going to keep seeing and shouting out folks in the comments, but we have some special guests today that I want to introduce. So I'm going to bring them on one by one. First up, Dirk and Tina. Say hi. Tell us where you are and what you're drinking.
We're in Albert, Texas at the ranch.
We're drinking Enchante 2018.
I love it. And you guys are wine club members with us. How long have y'all been hanging out at William Chris and a part of the William Chris family?
2011.
2011. So gosh, it's what, you're working on your 10th year? This is 9 years going on 10.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, cheers to you guys. Thanks for joining us today. Always great to have longtime friends and family join us. Let's bring on another friend. We have got Terry. Terry, how are you doing today? Tell us where you are and what you're drinking.
Fantastic. Down here in Hayes County, also 2018 Enchante. And I stumbled into William Chris for the first time about 5 years ago and fell in love.
I love it. And Terry, you're a pretty big, just like generally Texas wine kind of aficionado, I feel like, and student, yeah?
Yes. I love it. Yeah. And I've loved watching it grow over the last 5 years. It's been fun.
Well, we're happy to have you as a part of our family and a fan of ours and a friend of mine. Everybody, Terry is a former colleague of mine as well, my previous job. So it's good to have a friend on camera as well. Terry, we're going to come back to you. Cheers to you. Happy Hour. All right, and last but certainly not least, we're joined by a good friend and fellow wine professional. Guys, everybody say hi to Allie Schmidt. Allie, say hi. Tell us where you are and what you're drinking today.
Hi, I'm in North Austin in the North Loop area. I'm drinking some Erbaluce di Caluso, a white wine from Piedmont in Italy.
I love it. Cheers to you, Allie. Guys, it's awesome that she's drinking Erbaluce. Today, Allie is going to join us for the Wine Nerds segment. I wanted to invite some of my fellow wine professionals to come teach you. You can hear different perspectives and maybe learn a few new things, and I can learn a few new things as well. So drinking white wine from Italy is very much on brand for today's our Wine Nerd segment. We're going to talk about white wines from the Mediterranean. So Allie, cheers to you. We'll come back and see you here just in a little bit in the Wine Nerd segment. All right, folks, I'm going to say hi to a few more folks. Leah is here. I love it. Stephanie and Chris, good to see you guys. Trace is back. David Frazier, Gig'em, and howdy. First timer, David, welcome to William Chris Happy Hour. We're so happy to have you. Will, good to see you as well. Okay, guys, you know that after our introductions, it's time for me to talk to you about our wine for today. If you're a William Chris fan, you know this wine well. It's called Enchante. This is the 2018 vintage of Enchante. You know, this is typically in the style of a left bank Bordeaux wine, so very cab heavy with some other Bordeaux varieties blended in. So this year's blend, and if you're a wine club member, you just got this in your shipment, I believe. So hopefully you're drinking it with me, enjoying it. This is 61% Cabernet Sauvignon, 37% Merlot, 2% Petit Verdot. And you know, let's take a sip, guys. Cheers to the end of Monday, April 20th. It's happy hour. It's time to have a drink and mark the end of the day. Tasting good, tasting exactly like I would expect to. It's got a lot of fruit, guys. It's a very young wine. You know, only about 2 years old at this point. And Cab and Merlot and Petit Verdot, big fruited wines that bring a lot of intensity. So, you know, a lot of red fruit here. We can talk about sour cherry, definitely some black fruit as well, maybe some plum and blackberry, and then some very obvious oak. This wine had 19 months in 40% new French oak. We had a really great question from one of our viewers, Crystal. She's going to join us tomorrow. We're going to talk about the difference between new and neutral oak. So I'm not going to give all those details, but 40% new French oak is pretty high for William Chris. We usually top out around 20% or so, but it makes sense for the style of wine. Bordeaux wines are known to stand up well to oak. They integrate well with oak, and it makes them ageable. So things like clove, cinnamon, baking spice. If you're drinking this with me, definitely it's a little tart. It's got good acidity. The tannin's not too intense. I would call this probably medium tannin. So while I typically say, you know, Bordeaux blends, you need a big piece of meat to stand up to the intense tannins. This one is actually kind of subtle. Food-wise, I'm thinking in the braised lamb, steak frites kind of world. You're probably familiar with a dish called boeuf bourguignon or beef bourguignon from France. In Texas, I'm going to challenge those of you who like to cook to put a twist on it and do this with venison. I think a venison bourguignon actually would go really, really nicely with this wine. Again, when you get all those savory notes, especially with a fruity wine, the balance of the savory and the fruit is just going to be beautiful here. Some of the tannins will become a little more velvety. They're a little bit of a astringent, kind of rough in its youth, but that makes it ageable. Okay, so that's a lot about Enchante today. Hopefully you're enjoying it. So cheers to you guys. That's it for the wine segment for today. Let's bring back, for our Wine Nerd section today, we're going to bring back Allie Schmidt. I'm going to give an introduction of Allie before she jumps in. Guys, Allie is a good friend of mine, taught me a ton about wine, still teaches me a ton about wine, is not only the sommelier, but also the general manager at Emmer & Rye in Austin, Texas, and recently passed her advanced sommelier exam. So she is one level below Master Somm. In other words, she's kind of a badass. And Guys, I think one of the leaders of the Austin wine community. So we're super lucky to have some of her time today on her day off. So Immer and Rye is still doing curbside pickup and a little bit of delivery downtown. So she's still there working hard with their team. And I just want to say thanks for showing up on your day off and spending some time with us, Allie.
Yeah, of course. There is nowhere I'd rather be. And in this moment, I'm very grateful for Zoom, because right before I went on camera, I did spill about half a glass of wine on myself. So glad you can only see me from here and up, keeping it classy on a Monday. So I thought I would focus on just chatting a little bit about fun Italian white grape varieties today. I've started drinking a lot more of them as the weather has shifted into being gorgeous 85, almost up to 90-degree days. And for me too, it's a comfort choice. I think times like these, I end up going into comfort zones, and Italy has always been that for me. It's the country I visited the most outside of the United States. It's the food I love, wineries I feel comfortable with, and the price point is just really easy to do some exploration when you're drinking Italian wine. So that I dive into some fun grape varieties that maybe some of us haven't had before. Pinot Grigio obviously being the best known Italian white grape. And there's quite a few indigenous white grapes that belong to different small pockets of Italy that behave similarly in the glass, or maybe have a little bit higher acidity or different aromatics. So a good way to jump off if you normally love Pinot Grigio, but maybe want to try something familiar but a little bit new right now. So I'll start with the one I'm drinking right now, which is Erba Luce di Caluso. I'm drinking one from Ferrando. It's a small region focused on white wine in Piedmont, so just about an hour, 2 hours north of where the Barolo area would be. And this grape I would describe as being kind of like a blend. Sorry, what?
Give me 2 seconds, Allie. I'm gonna show folks on this map. Hopefully you guys can see on your screen. Let me make sure that it gets shared. Boom. There we go. So you can see and I, but she is talking about the Piedmont area, which you'll notice is kind of like the, what would you call that, Allie? Like the front of the thigh, like where the leg attaches to the body?
Yeah, I think that's like almost to the hammy of the Italian leg.
Nice.
So up there by where Turin is where we're at with this wine, and we're really getting into the Alps of Italy, so cooler climate, more elevation, and the wine to me drinks like a mix of if like Riesling and Sauvignon Blanc had a baby, but that baby grew up in Italy and was like really chill. I think that would be Erba Luce. Super herbaceous, lifted acidity, kind of a fun option when you want Sauvignon Blanc, but maybe without those kind of tropical grapefruit notes. And it's super delicious. I would pair this with an afternoon in your backyard with your dog.
You sound like you're speaking from experience.
Absolutely. I would just like to take this moment to introduce my assistant, Snacks Osborne Schmidt. Snacks.
Snacks is incredible, guys. I really hope. Where is he? Oh, he's on the ground. Okay. Snacks. Hi, Snacks. Guys, this is an incredible dog.
Sorry.
Is he part shepherd, part blue heeler, or something like that?
He's an Australian Shepherd. He's a certified sommelier, but he refuses to drink anything but William Chris.
It's got great taste. That's a dog with great taste.
He really does. So next grape I want to talk about would be moving kind of south to Campania. So the area right around the Amalfi Coast has some of my favorite white grapes from Italy. Very budget-friendly options. You can find these usually at Twin Liquors or Austin Wine Merchant or any local wine shop that's a little bit geeky. My top three from Campania would be Fiano, which is going to be kind of like Pinot Grigio, but a little bit more citrus, and then almost like this like piney resinous quality to it that's really fun. Greco di Tufo is another fun option. Really light, zippy, citrus forward, some like white flower action. And then there's also Falangino, which is my personal favorite. It is just really light. The acidity is lifted. There's some aromatic kind of like jasmine-y tones to it, but most of all it's just really, really, really easy to drink. Stick it in an ice bucket and have it with the food that you would normally think of eating in Campania. So we're on the coast, maybe some citrus, like risotto with lemon juice, maybe seafood on the grill with a pesto or a citrus sauce, marinated anchovies. Can't go too wrong with Falanghina.
This is like a food hotline that I want to call into. And I feel like people just can like say all these Italian dishes to me. It's just like making me so hungry. First of all, I can't reiterate more what you're saying about Italian whites. I feel like for whatever reason, they get lost in the like encyclopedia of grapes that we drink and we enjoy. And there's just so many great ones in Italy, and so food friendly, because Italy is like super, super famous for, right, like the two together. You know, I feel like it's almost always talked about as this combo of you're going to drink this with this item that you're eating at the same time. So makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I think that has been one of my, silver linings of the situation, is having a little bit more time to plan out what I'm going to eat and what I'm going to drink with it has been so fun. And starting with either I'm really craving this food and coming from the back end with wine, or picking a wine that I've been holding on to or maybe just purchased, and then planning an entire meal around pairing perfectly with that, has been probably my greatest escape during this time.
That's a great escape. And I feel like you and your incredible roommate, Paul, who I'm buddies with as well, who's also sommelier, you guys have been posting some incredible stuff on Instagram that you've been cooking. Have y'all been doing a lot of cooking during all this time?
So much cooking. It's some more successful than others. Yesterday we made a dish that was not a home run, and I thought Paul was going to move out and go hide in the wilderness and never speak to me again. It was dandelion greens wrapped in pizza dough, and it was probably the most bitter and unpleasant thing we've ever made. So sometimes it's very successful and we find these total magic moments of food and wine pairing, and other times it's a great learning experience.
I love that. Okay, Ali, I have a question on the Italian white side. Is there anything for you? I feel like you've covered a lot of and maybe not all, but a lot of the wines I feel like you've talked about could be kind of described as zippy or refreshing, maybe a little more elevated acidity levels on most of those. If I'm typically more a Chardonnay, California Chardonnay drinker, like somebody who doesn't necessarily look for zippy or higher elevated acid white wines, if I'm going to drink an Italian white, where might you lead me?
Well, I would say Piedmont does actually do some Chardonnay pretty well. And some examples of that will see some oak. So if you want to stay in the comfort zone and stick with Chardonnay, Piedmont is definitely the right place to go. The other grape I would throw out, I'm a huge fan of Sicily, and in particular Mount Etna, which is going to be the volcanic island in the center. They do a white wine from Mount Etna called Etna Bianco that's based on a grape called Caricante. And that usually just use neutral oak, but it has sort of that like weighty richness, that propensity towards minerality that I think we all love about Chardonnay. So I think that could be a really fun option. Or I would throw out, there are some examples of Verdicchio from La Marche. So if you're thinking of where Tuscany is on the flip side of the country, awesome, that yellow guy up there. Verdicchio is really fun, and it actually ages surprisingly well. There's a few producers that will release 4 or 5-year-old Verdicchios, and those kind of get that nutty, developed quality that I think people who enjoy oak and a little bit of oxidation, it would work really deliciously.
I love that. And I love like your background on the restaurant floor is just like so valuable. Having all of these different questions that come from people with different preferences, and knowing all the dishes that are on your menu, and at Emmer, a menu that changes quite frequently, I feel like makes you just this almost like Swiss Army knife of a wine professional that I'm
very generous. Very generous.
I have a question. Dirk and Tina, I know you guys, I think y'all were posting in the comments. I'm going to bring y'all on. It sounded like you had a question here. Talk to us. You have a question for Ali?
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a great question. We drink wines from Texas, and they say oh, it has a grapefruit taste or it has a tobacco taste. But there's no tobacco or grapefruit in Central Texas. Where do those notes come from?
So I would say they come from a couple different things. One, it's the inherent character of the grape. So, for example, William Chris works with Vermentino. For me, Vermentino always has a very like peachy, nectarine quality to it, and that's just the way that the grape expresses itself. The other kind of factors with that are going to be climate. Obviously, with a warm climate like Texas, you get grapes that get pretty ripe, and those fruit characters are bloomed a bit more than if you were getting the wine from, say, a cooler pocket of Oregon where there's not as much sun or heat. Obviously, winemaker decisions impact that too. For example, like a tobacco flavor, when I think of tobacco, a lot of times I think of the impact of oak. And I know Dee is going to go into this tomorrow, so I won't go too hard. But obviously, oak
great. Don't worry about it.
And grape flavors kind of intersect to what ends up being in your glass, and then the effect of aging in there too. This wine is 2016 and it has kind of these like stony rocky notes, a little bit of like almost like a bitter walnut, and I would guess if I had drunk this when it was only a year old, those wouldn't be there. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes. And I just want to make sure, is Zippy an official wine tasting description?
It's an official wine tasting term, but you have to capitalize the Z to use it.
Okay, I wasn't sure. It was new to me, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I guess when I say Zippy, I think of something that makes my mouth water. So it has enough acidity that I'm left like really wanting food or just to keep drinking the wine, but without a severity or like I don't know, I guess like Riesling, I would never describe as zippy because it's so tart that I'm left almost like pursing my lips. But something like Erba Luce or Falangina or Sauvignon Blanc is just like easy to drink, and I can keep drinking it, and there's no like shock moment.
Okay, I'm going to use that term.
Yep. Yeah, guys,
don't
you
forget to
heard it here
capitalize
first.
the Z though.
Thank you.
Allie's going to trademark this. Guys, thanks for the question. The trademark term for today, if you take nothing away from the wine nerd section, is zippy, and it's with a capital Z, and it's going to be those elevated acidic white wines that are so refreshing that you just want to keep going back for. Allie, this has been awesome. Hopefully you won't go anywhere because we have a fun end of the segment today, but we've loved getting to learn from you, and thanks again for being here. Cheers to you.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, everybody.
Y'all, I hope you enjoyed the wine nerd section, getting to learn from another wine professional. I think it's always good and important to learn from different perspectives. And gosh, Allie, guys, she's got so much experience and knowledge, and I'm still learning from her. I love going into Immer and Rye and getting to ask questions and learning. So great place. And Allie's gosh, I would say just like a real leader in the Austin wine community. So seek her out. Follow her on Instagram, all those kinds of fun things. And their dog Snacks is really a rock star. So that's the wine nerd section. I'm going to bring back some folks. You know, we like to play at the end here. Guys, we're week 5. I don't know if you realize that. We've been doing this for 5 weeks. 5 weeks. That's crazy. You know, but it means that we're taking our relationship to the week 5 level. Guys, can you imagine if we started dating and we had been together every day for 5 weeks? That's a lot of time together. So that means our relationship is like ready for the next level. And you guys know the drill. We started this game, This or That, last week, and we're only going to do 2 rounds today because I have an extra added layer that I want to introduce. But we're going to start out with what I think is a little bit of a softball toss. I think most people are going to really like this. If you're a first timer, because I did see some few first timers, we play this or that. You have to choose between one of 2 options, and there is no cheating. Okay, there is no picking both, and you have to explain your answer. So let's jump into the comments. For those of you who know how to do this, I need to see your answer in the comments, and I am going to be bringing our guests back in. Round 1, tacos or burgers? Tacos or burgers, and you only get one, and I have to know what your reason is, okay? That's right, Kate. Sometimes the host makes exceptions for himself. Also, I want to re-up while you guys are answering. First of all, I need some more wine in my glass. So everybody, let's cheers again. Happy hour. Happy end of Monday. Cheers to you and whoever you're drinking with. Gosh, this is tasting so nice. It's been open for going on about 45 minutes. If you're drinking this now, don't drink it too fast. Drink it over the context of like the next hour and a half, next 2 hours. Guys, wines like this, especially ones that are young, they're just going to continue to open up and they're going to continue to be expressive in different ways. It's that ride on the roller coaster. Okay, we're going to check back in. I know you guys are answering in the comments right now. I want to know burgers or tacos, and you only get one. So I'm going to bring Terry back in first. So Terry, I hope you're ready with your answer. I want to hear from some of our guests today. Terry, welcome back. It's good to see your face again. How are you feeling about burgers versus tacos?
Okay, that's a tough one, the loves of my life there. But I'm going to go with tacos, and here's why. Because I love the idea of making things your own and customizing. And although I've seen, lots of iterations of burgers, I just feel like the layering that you do in a taco and also the vessel can all vary so much that I love the variability and that you can make it your own. A taco for sure.
I love that. Terry, thank you. I'm not going to show my hand yet. Gosh, I almost gave it away. I agree with you. I was actually watching a masterclass earlier today. There's a really incredible Mexican chef who is on the masterclass. I don't know if you guys are doing the masterclass thing. I figure I have some time to spend on continuing to learn and invest in myself. And she was teaching about how to nixtamalize, I think is the right term, corn to make masa in order to make tortillas. Like, it's incredible. That process is crazy. I need to check in on the comments before I bring in another guest. Dirk and Tina, I'm coming for y'all, so make sure you have your answer ready. Guys, tacos. Eric says burgers. I grew up in the Northeast and was slow to learn about the goodness of tacos. Veronica, tacos, versatile, lots of diets. Okay, Sherry, burgers. Jamie, tacos. Paul, burgers. Anthony, burgers, because I like grilling. But this is BS. Yes, you have to choose. I know, it's terrible. Judy, I say tacos, but hubby says burgers. Guys, this is like a 50-50. Ann says burgers, had them last night. Guys, the reason I asked this question is I am craving both. I made tacos the other day, but I don't have the stuff to make burgers with. And I am this close to just getting that delivered or doing like a curbside pickup. I heard Hestia, the other Imran Rye restaurant, is doing like a killer burger right now that I haven't had yet and people are raving about. So I'm gonna have to bring Allie back on to talk about that for a sec, because gosh, I am craving a burger right now. Rinda says burgers, awesome. You can make them with cheese, avocados. Alan says burgers, the All-American meal. Says the Canadian. I love that. You're rooting for the All-American meal. Kathy, too hard to have to choose. Tina, burgers. I'm old school. I love it. Okay, we're gonna do this quick. Dirk and Tina, sounds like are you both burgers?
No, I'm tacos. You can have breakfast tacos. You cannot have breakfast hamburgers. Can't do it.
Ooh, them are fighting words. Okay, thank you for that. Tina, I think I saw your answer already. Your burgers. Allie, we're coming to you. Thoughts and feelings, tacos or burgers?
I agree. This is BS. This is challenging. I will start by saying I eat more tacos than I do burgers, but I'm going to have to go burger. I think as much as I love the versatility of tacos, fish tacos, breakfast tacos, endless options, if I had to go the rest of my life without the satisfaction of biting into the perfect burger, mayo, lettuce, tomato, onion, cheese, I would die. So burger.
Wow, guys, you heard it here. And she described the perfect build. I hope you noticed that. Like, having strong opinions, I got to respect that. Whew, guys, this is the first time I came in with an answer, and some people might have changed my mind. Like, I've always known at my heart of hearts what my answer would be. And I was like 100% taco coming into this conversation. Like, hands down, breakfast tacos, fresh tortillas, like all the options. And especially after having been to Mexico City. But dang, after hearing a couple of you describe this, specifically Allie described that, and maybe because I'm craving it and I haven't had it in so long, the idea of like grease dripping down the side of my face while I bite into like a double meat, double cheeseburger, grass-fed, toasted bun, extra bacon, extra mustard. Man, I could go for a burger, so I'm going burgers 100% today. If you answered burgers, you were right today. Tacos, you folks were wrong. I'm sorry. It's okay. You'll live to see another day. And we've got an April 20th round 2, guys. I also want to shout out. Looks like Asia was burgers. Kate's talking about Nisha Malai's masterclass is awesome. Yes, it is, Anthony. I'm all about it. Mark says tacos, habanero hot sauce. I do love me some habanero hot sauce, guys. Love all the spicy. Jamie's on here and she says, "What a burger, breakfast burger." Okay, Dirk, you got a challenger there. Guys, round 2, it's April 20th. This might be hard for some of you. This is a little bit Austin themed, but I think about it as Texas themed. Round 2, Willie Nelson or Matthew McConaughey. Willie Nelson or Matthew McConaughey. This is an April 20th themed round 2. Guys, I started with some Willie Nelson music to start the segment. I don't know if that tipped my hand or not. There's a lot to be said here. I am for sure going to bring my guests back in. I'm going to pour a little bit more wine because I think we're going to need a drink after this. We're going to have some split, I feel like. I see a lot of all right. Carol's Willie all the way. I love this. Rinda says Matthew is so cute. The question is here, are we going with like sexual appeal? Are we going with music? Are we going with movie star quality? Are we going with like naked bongo drum playing? I mean, so many different ways to slice this one. We're going to go with Dirk and Tina first. Guys, I'm coming to you. Hope you're ready. What's going on? What are we feeling?
I'm Willie. Short hair, long hair. Can sing the classics, can sing a renegade. He's the ultimate renegade.
And I'm McConaughey because he's a fellow professor at UT.
Hey, okay. I love it. There, you heard it. You heard it there, guys. Another divided household situation. Allie, we're going to come to you next. I hope you're ready with your answer. You know, you got to answer. I know you have to pick one. I know it's rough.
I know. I mean, very, very hard decision here. I think ultimately it comes down to 2 things for me. One, my guilty pleasure rom-com movie is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So
same. I love that movie.
So good. And secondly, I think Matthew McConaughey has given back so much to the Austin community in the last few years. And it's really inspiring to watch him take his celebrity and use it for good causes. So Matthew McConaughey, although very tough.
Woo, guys. You heard it there. Allie appreciates the contribution to the Austin community. As a fellow, guys, you didn't know this because we didn't talk about it. Allie and I both were born and raised here. So I appreciate her appreciation of Matthew's contribution to Central Texas community. I'm going to read a few more of these comments, but Terry, I'm still coming back to you. Don't think you're off the hook on this one. Asia says Matthew M. All right. Lindy, Matthew. Guys, there's a lot more McConaughey's than I expected. I thought this was going to be like a Willie Nelson, like, waterfall in the comments, and it's pretty balanced. Sharon, Willie Nelson, but Matthew is so easy on the eyes. Okay, Sharon, I don't know if you're there with somebody else. That happened last week, wasn't it? Asha was like, Daniel Craig is my one, what did she call it? Asha, you get to remind me. It was like her one free card, like her one free card. So Trace and Amy, you probably said it and I might have missed it in the comments. You guys tuning in. Crystal says Willie's sexy too. Adele says Matthew for sure. Ken says, looks like I need to talk to my spouse. Guys, my intention is not to break up marriages or partnerships or whatever on this show. It's just to bring a little light. If we're going to be in a relationship, I need to know where you stand on these things because, you know, if we're compatible, maybe the relationship will last a little bit longer. Okay, let's go back to Terry. Terry, I got to hear from you. How are you feeling about this?
For very similar reasons for Allie, I'm actually going to choose Willie. Number one, just out of respect, But also, he has just always been just such a philanthropist, always life-giving and giving back. And I personally have had so much joy from his music, both recorded and live in my life, that I just, out of respect, have to choose him. I adore Matthew, but got to give it to Willie.
That makes sense. Guys, it's a split. This is one where my mind was made up 100% coming in, and it hasn't changed per usual for me. I love the same movie that Allie loves, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I like default to that. I appreciate how much Matthew McConaughey has done for the Central Texas region, specifically Austin. I, you know, I can feel a sense of camaraderie with the whole naked bongo drum playing. Though the police have not shown up my door while that's happened. But guys, and while I love me some Matthew McConaughey, but Willie Nelson is classic gold. Like, no doubt. I grew up, like I told you guys, my dad is like a cowboy through and through. Grew up listening to classic gold music in his truck, like old school country, like the song I played at the beginning with Waylon. Like, you cannot ever convince me away from Willie Nelson and him being just like such a central part to culture, especially here in Texas. Like, it's like, denying like a pillar of the foundations of our society. I don't know, maybe that's a like hot take there from Willie Nelson, but Willie's my boy. I love him. I'm thankful for his contributions to like classic gold country and music in general. So Willie Nelson it is. I had this really other awesome, cool segment. We've run long already, so we're going to save it. So appreciate Terry, Dirk, and Jordan. Maybe tomorrow we'll launch this, and I might even bring you guys back. I have a new segment that I wanted to pitch with you. Guys, the comments have been blowing up. Sorry if I didn't get to read yours. Annette says Matthew McConaughey is my pick. Fire, fire, fire. I hear you. I get you. But Trace is right. Matthew is also a wronghorn. That's also fair. Sometimes it's important to put looks aside and understand what's deeper than surface level. Okay. No, guys, it's been such a joy. I'm going to bring all of our guests back on while I do these three things. They've been awesome. I'm going to change. There we go. All four of our folks here. You guys know I always finish with these three things. I don't want to miss this before we cheers. So let's talk for a second while they're hanging out on the screen about these three things in the comments. So if you're new here or you forgot, I always put these three things in the comments. Hopefully they all came through. I know it's running a little bit long. Guys, this month we are turning 10. We've been open at the winery for 10 years. The tasting room has been open. Guys, cheers to 10 years for William Chris. Officially marks a decade. That means we have a 10-year anniversary pack that you need to get. It is for the virtual tasting on Saturday, which takes place at 4 p.m. every Saturday. That virtual tasting 4-pack includes a 14 sparkling, which guys, you have to go get that wine. It's such limited production. It's so good. And you want to open bubbles this week to help us celebrate. Chris and Catherine are going to be on, along with a lot of our other family members. We're going to have a big blowout. So we're really excited about what Saturday has in store. So you should be excited too. There's a link there. Hopefully you can see it in the comments. Go get that 4-pack. You don't want to miss out on that 4-pack. Second, use code Happy Hour to get 10% off single bottle sales. So you'll notice in D's thing number 1, you have to have 6 bottles to get shipping included. So that 4-pack is not 6. The old math teacher in me tells me you need 2 more bottles to get shipping included. Well, if you want 10% off those 2 bottles, add the code Happy Hour so you get 10% off and free shipping, right? You see how that worked? Use code Happy Hour, free shipping, and 10% off. Cool? Okay. Third, I always forget to tell you what we're drinking tomorrow. It's the 2017 Timmins Tanat. For our wine club members, you should have it in your pack. So hang on to that Tanat. And I'm going to turn it over to Allie to do our cheers to for today, to recognize and thank a group of people that we need to give a cheers to. So Allie, take it away. Who are we cheersing to today?
I was going to say cheers to all of the restaurant industry workers that are home right now that cannot wait to get back in the restaurants, pouring wine into your glasses, making you feel good, and doing what they do best. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for being with us, all of our guests and all of our commenters, our viewers. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow right here at 5 o'clock.
Cheers. Thank you, Dee.
Cheers. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Dee.
Thanks, Dee.